In continuing to talk about my illnesses, I'm going to start with fibromyalgia because it might be the easiest to explain, although none of them are really that easy to explain. Fibromyalgia is a soft tissue form of rheumatism, which means it affects soft tissues such as muscles, ligaments, tendons, maybe the fascia too. I'm not quite sure about that one. Some rheumatologists think it's an autoimmune disease, but many don't, because a very similar condition can be induced by depriving people of enough sleep or of deep enough sleep. However, I personally don't find that getting enough sleep or deep enough sleep lessens the fibromyalgia, let alone making it go away. I think the current research is showing that fibromyalgia is probably a nervous system disorder. I know in the past it was thought it might have been an immune system disorder, and even now the immune system probably plays some role in it. But I don't think it's autoimmune. Personally, I don't think it is. This has something to do with pain. It's a substance called substance P that the researchers say is elevated in people with fibromyalgia. Basically, people with fibromyalgia are much more sensitive to pain than other people, but specific kinds of pain. Generally, we can take a lot of pain. We have to, just to be able to function day to day. But we do feel certain kinds of pain more than other people, like muscle pain, joint pain, things like that. I'm on Cymbalta, 120 milligrams for it, and it does help, but I wish it helped more. I think at some point I'm probably going to go on Lyrica in addition to Cymbalta, and hopefully that'll help. I've tried Neurontin, but I can't say that Neurontin really does that much. Doesn't help me much anyway. Maybe some people. I've had fibromyalgia. I think I was diagnosed in 2002, though I believe I've had it since about 97. That's when I was 17. Back then it started out with severe fatigue, muscle pain, trouble sleeping, and I would remember getting in the shower and the spray of it would hurt. It would really hurt, particularly on the back of my neck where I still have a lot of pain. Most of my fibromyalgia pain seems to be back there, especially the muscle that runs from the back of the head down the neck and a little over to the shoulder. You have one of those muscles on each side. It begins with T. I think it's called a trapezius. And in my calves, that's the other place I get a lot of pain. But I also get it in right near my elbows. There's a fibromyalgia point there. You have to have a certain amount of them to qualify for actually having fibromyalgia. Although, from what I understand, there's enough people who seem to have fibromyalgia but fall short of having 11 of the 18 points. I think that's the numbers. Fibromyalgia can definitely create memory problems, concentration problems, that's probably related in no small part to the fact that A, you're in pain, and B, you have insomnia. It's been a very misunderstood illness. A lot of doctors thought in the past that it was a psychological disorder, but it wasn't real, especially because women experience it primarily, and they thought it was all in women's heads. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Yeah, right. Now, it's definitely known to be a physical disorder, although there are still a fair share of doctors who try to discredit the women who have it and who suffer from it. But it's like that with a lot of illnesses that women primarily experience. But that's why it's important to find a really good rheumatologist. I think I have the best rheumatologist in the world. And it's really important to communicate with your doctor, to be honest about how much pain you're in and what your level of functioning is. I know sometimes when I go there, you know, I want to seem like I'm doing better than what I am, and, you know, it's, you know, what does he see me for, a half hour every 3 or 4 months? And it's nice, it can be easy, not just with doctors, but with anyone who doesn't see you a lot, for you to put on a facade of, oh, I'm doing okay, when I'm really not. And I think people with chronic illnesses tend to do this anyway, because it's hard to, you know, just be like, I'm sick every day of my life, every waking moment, I'm in pain, I'm suffering from fatigue, sometimes I feel like I'm gonna die. You know, most people don't want to hear that. When they say, hi, how you doing? You know, they want to hear something like, okay, fine, good, great. You know, some variation on that. It's really not easy having chronic illnesses, and I have 4. And, you know, the more time goes on, the worse they get, really. Technically, fibromyalgia isn't a progressive illness, but I've never talked to one person with it who says they don't feel like it gets worse. It doesn't damage anything in the body, but, you know, you don't have to have actual structural damage to have functional issues. You know, how well can a person function when they can't sleep, they have trouble getting around, they're in constant pain? I mean, you know, I'm not looking for sympathy with this, but I often wish I had my life back. I was a very active person. I, you know, exercised almost every day. I like to play a game one-on-one soccer with one of my cousins or a friend. Played it a couple times with my little sister, but that was after I was already ill, and it's already becoming a problem for me. Soccer's something I had to give up entirely. It's very hard for me to exercise. I recently, less than a year ago, graduated from college. It took me 6 years to get a 4-year degree because of my illnesses. Sometimes I had to go part-time, sometimes I wound up withdrawing from some classes and then, you know, going part-time after I'd started out full-time during a semester. And also, it's hard to choose a career that I'll actually be capable of doing. I mean, I thought I had, but, you know, with my illnesses getting worse lately, it's hard to know for sure what my future holds.